So I am very happy to be here. Thank you, Apostle Axel. I feel very honored, today to be with all of you, sharing this amazing experience with my epic family. You are a great audience here. And something that really connected so deeply, with Apostle Axel is that he really believes in the next generation. And he's a mentor to the next generation. He's a mentor to the nation. So it's awesome, because that really stuck with me. And it's something that really excites me, every time that I have the opportunity to spend time with him. And as he said, the last 3 years, I had the opportunity to spend so many time with Apostle Axel, so many times. We have been at the Summit of the Future in the United Nations. We have been at the C.S.W., the Commission of the Status of Women at the UN. So that really expanded us, all our mindset, relationships, networking. That really is fostering me, in this time, to do more things, and growing faster, in my process, in my purpose, in everything that God has placed in my heart. So I am very excited, very grateful, Apostle. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So now, I will be sharing with you about growing leaders, because this is something that it really excites me a lot. It's something that is connected to my purpose, is to shape the leaders of the future. So it's very important to be very intentional to grow leaders. So the first question that I want to start right now is the next one. So how and what do you feel when you think about the future? Take 10 seconds, to think about it. What do you feel? How do you feel about the future? What is the first thought, your first emotion when you listen to this word in every aspect of your life? I have asked this question so many times in many lectures, in many classes, conferences with students, with many people with different backgrounds, with leaders. And something very interesting is that most of the time they have mentioned that they are feeling fear, anxiety, worry, insecurity, pessimism, stress, in a sense that there is no future. And what is very interesting is that many of these leaders or many of these students, they are youth. So this is very important. So, what do you think about it? To me, it's exciting. To me, it's to think in possibilities. It's to think in opportunities. What about you? It excites you? Because it will affect everything you do in your life. Everything. It will affect everything in your life. What do you think? What are your results? What are your outcomes? Whatever. So you have to be very careful. What is your feeling about the future? What is your perspective about the future? So now, I will share with you something very interesting. Do you know that there are studies about the future? Do you know that? Some people dedicate themselves all their lives studying the future. And these are people that systematic study possible, probable, and preferable futures. These studies can help leaders, and communities to manage uncertainty and enhance their resilience and innovation. So there are people studying the future. So what we are doing about that as church leaders, as business leaders, as community leaders? There is literature about the future. Yeah. Wow. And there are people that they perform future mapping. It's a common practice among organizations, among business, about people that are really being very disruptive and innovating in the marketplace. So what about us? Can we map the future? You know what? Something very interesting that I have been reading about and studying about is that many psychologists, this is very something very known. Many psychologists go deal with people and take people, to the past, to deal with issues from the past. Yeah? To heal trauma or many things, many issues. But what about mapping the future? Yeah, it's important. Go into the past and deal with your issues of the past. But what about being intentional about going to the future? See the future. And then, when you see the future, the highest version of yourself in the future, and then you bring it back to the present. And it's like I am an engineer, and you can do something like a reverse engineering process, and then you can start being very intentional with the actions and to came up with a plan about what to do, very intentional, and to become the person that you see yourself at the future. This is about that, future mapping. But very interesting about this is that we can do future mapping for our lives, but not just for our lives. We can do it for our churches. We can do it for our organizations, with our communities, with our business. It's something that we can do. Future mapping. This is a tool. It's like a technology that we can do, Then, I read that the United Arab Emirates has a ministry of the future. I don't know, but in Mexico, we don't have a ministry of the future. Do you have a ministry of the future here in the USA? So after reflecting and meditating very intentionally about it, I have realized the next thing. I have realized that the best ministry of the future is the ministry of the youth. It's the ministry of the youth. So we have the ministry of the future. We have it in our families. We have it in our communities. We have it in our ministries, in our churches. Because the youth are everywhere. Everywhere. I consider myself as a young person, even when I have 39 years old. But how many youth leaders are here? So we have to be very intentional, growing leaders, youth leaders, because they are the future. So let me go faster. Let me share with you some very interesting facts that will give you some perspective. Did you know that 50% of the global population is under 30 years old? Worldwide? Do you know that 50%, suicide was the fourth cause of death among the youth worldwide? Did you know that 1 of 4 young adults consider committing suicide in the USA? 47% of young people in the USA have used drugs when they are out of high school. 27% of young people in the world drink alcohol. Do you know that 48% of Gen Z is stressed? Did you know that 47% of millennials suffer from stress? And do you know that 56%, this is very alarming, 56% of Gen Z tends to expect the worst to happen? Do you know that this generation, Gen Z, is the generation that they are dealing not just with anxiety, but with depression issues, with mental health issues, and what we are doing about it? What we're doing? What kind of tools? What kind of tools we are giving to them, we're providing to them to help them, to connect with them, to understand them? It's about radical empathy, this. We have to be really empathetic with the youth. So then, this is very interesting too. This was an analysis performed by Monitoring the Future by John Twenge. And what they found in some studies is that they found depressive symptoms in US 8, 10, and 12th graders. Can you ever imagine that? 49.5% they said that I can do anything right. 48% I do not enjoy life. And 44% my life is not useful. Have you ever think about this? This is alarming. Why is it alarming? Because this is very sad. This is a sample of the next generation leaders that they will lead in the church, in community, in business, in life. So that if they are broken, if they are sick, if they are dealing with mental health issues, what do you think will happen? Because everything will affect, it has some implications in society. So we have to invest in the youth. We have to mentor the youth. Because if the youth have a pessimistic view of the world, so this will limit their performance. They will limit the development of their potential. So all the data that I just introduced you is very important because that gives us like a taste and like a diagnostic about how we are living in a time of lack of purpose and lack of meaning in society. So we have to be very intentional to change these things. So the youth need us. They need us. Tell your partner, the youth need us. They desperately need you. They need your leadership. Tell your partner, they need your leadership. Your view affects the future. Your view about the future affects everything you do. So if we do not understand the youth, how are we supposed to connect with them, to lead them, and to even shape the next generation leaders? Many of them, they never hear the word, I believe in you. Yes, you can do it. But you can change that situation because you have answers in your life. You have the Word of God inside of you, and you can provide to them answers. Maybe the only words that they have heard in all their lives are, you are useless, you are nothing, you don't have value. But you can change that. They need your guidance. They need your coaching. They need your mentorship. They need your words of encouragement. They need your correction, your support. You have to inspire the people. So who are the leaders of the future? The Gen Zs, the Gen Alpha. And now in 2025, it started the Beta generation. And this generation will grow up in the AI era, where human skills will become even more important than ever before. So we have to be aware about this. So why is it essential to shape the leaders of the future? Because the youth are the leaders of the future. When we speak to the youth, we are literally speaking to the future. Because they are the next generation. And you know what? Every generation is responsible to develop the next generation. Tell your partner, you're responsible. I am responsible to develop the next generation leaders. And we cannot fail with this. We have to be very intentional about this, very aware about this. Yeah? And then what the Gen Zs value and look in their leaders? What they value? They value humility, respect, empathy, curiosity, communication, active listening, flexibility, mentorship. They're looking for mentors. So we have to give them the opportunity to be mentored. So we have to be kind. And you know, it's something very important. This is a program that I had the opportunity to lead in my university. It was a program, a global leadership program for more than 100 women leaders. It was to foster and to equip the women leaders of the future in my university. And it was a full program for 1 year. And something that I detected, you know, doing many interviews, because I interview every one of them, is that they didn't believe in themselves. But now they believe in themselves. And they are ready to lead in the future. And now they are being mentored by global mentors. So that's amazing. This is because this really connects with me. It really excites me, you know, because it connects with my purpose. It's about shaping the leaders of the future. So we have to be humble, empathetic, curious, respectful, to connect with them, to build bridges, to understand them. This is a way that we can use to grow leaders. Idea, instruction, demonstration, experience, and assessment. And this is the best way Jesus used this methodology, because he's the supreme leader in mentoring and growing leaders. Instructions, you show them the way. Then you demonstrate how to do it. And then you give them the opportunity to experience and maybe to mess up. And at the end, assessment, positive or negative, or both. And then you iterate. And you iterate. And you do it one over again. So how the leader of the future looks like? I have designed an acronym, because I love acronyms, as you can say. This acronym, disruptive. How many disruptive leaders are here? How many disruptive leaders? What is a disruptive leader? How it looks like? A disruptive leader breaks with traditional paradigms and creates innovative solutions to the present and future problems and challenges. He is characterized for being disruptive. So the best way to understand this is by asking powerful questions. So I'm going to make it quickly. So, first one, disruptive. When was the last time you embraced discomfort? What can be your discomfort? When was the last time you had the opportunity to lead a change in your business, in your ministry, in your job, in your community? When was the last time you suggested or implemented new ideas? Innovator, influencer, inspirational. When was the last time you did something for the first time? Do people follow you? Because leadership, because you are a leader, you have followers, you have influence. Have you ever done something that exceeded your expectations? Do you tend to think unconventionally, out of the box? Do you always think about creative forms of adding value to people? Solutionist, sacrificial and serving. Do you see problems as opportunities? Do you enjoy seeking and finding solutions? Do you enjoy finding solutions working collaboratively? Do you choose immediate or delayed gratification? Are you willing to sacrifice in the present for the possibility of a better future? Because this is about bargaining with the future. You have to sacrifice something of value today for the possibility to be better in the future. Do you love serving others or being served? Because leadership is about serving. It's about disposition, not a position. When was the last time you did something for someone else? Where could you put your service into practice more often? Radical and responsible. When was the last time you radically changed the way you think? Because this is a time to disrupt the way you think, to disrupt the way you act, to disrupt the way you lead, to disrupt the way your systems are. the way you are doing church, the way you are doing business, the way you are connecting with people, the way you are connecting with the youth, the way you are empowering the youth. Have you taken full responsibility of your life? Because every outcome that you have right now is your full responsibility. That's it. Unique. Take some time to reflect on what makes you unique and sets you apart. Operate from your authenticity, because authenticity is a currency right now. What are your strengths? What are your skills? Possibilistic, purposeful. What is your highest purpose? What is the highest purpose that you have? The purpose is the intersection of your passions, of your gifts, of your strengths, and the benefit for society. What are your possibilities? Transformational. Are you willing to change to lead the transformation? What are you willing to sacrifice today for the possibility of a better future? Intelligent and intergenerational. Are you capitalizing on your intelligence? Everyone is talking about IQ, and that's a good one. Intellectual intelligence. But what about EQ? Emotional intelligence. How you handle your emotions when you are dealing with problems, when you're dealing with people. And what about spiritual intelligence? Because all these emerging leaders, they are looking for a spiritual experience. So what we're doing to capitalize that. And what about social intelligence? What about radical empathy? How we understand people, how we connect with people. And are your thoughts and actions aligned with your purpose and vision? Do you connect with all generations? Do you have an intergenerational mindset? Something that I have been reading and studying about is that in order to build generational wealth, it takes just one risk taker. Just one risk taker in order to change all the genealogy tree. Just one risk taker. So intergenerational, because everything you do in the present, it affects and echo in the future generations. Everything you do today. So visionary and values driven. What is your highest possible vision of yourself? What are your core values? Enthusiastic and opportunity focused. With what attitude did you start your day? How do you finish your day? Because you have the ability to choose. How do you feel? How do you experience your day? How do you go to bed? With what attitude do you end your day? What do you do to recognize and seize opportunities? What do you do to create opportunities? Are you willing to take risks? The disruptive leaders are clear about their highest purpose. They are clear about their vision. They are clear about their mindset, about their system, abilities, values, IQ, EQ, SQ, to create and shape the emerging future, as well as facing challenges that are complex, ambiguous, volatile. They are able and committed to potentialize the next generation leaders to influence all spheres of society, from education, political, entertainment, sports, art, health, religion, government, and business. And you look at what this really, I can think about epic, because it's about that, influencing all the spheres of society. So that's it. Disruptive leaders are crazy enough to think that they can change the world. And normally they do it. They serve God when they serve, benefit and add value to people through their abilities, virtues, strengths, character, and gifts. That's it. And now, I'm going to end with something. It would just take me 2 minutes to share with you. Do I have 2 minutes more? 2 minutes? 2 minutes? 2 minutes. And that's it. 2 minutes. Yesterday was 5 minutes from Apostle. 2 minutes. Apostle, of course. He's my mentor. But just 2 minutes. 2 minutes. To share with you this was a speech that I prepared for the United Nations in the Summit of the Future. But at the end, because many people, apply for that, and I wasn't selected. And I was thinking, and also I shared it with Apostle Axel, and he told me, oh, he was very good. You should record it. And I was thinking about that. But when Apostle Axel invited to me, to come, that I feel very honored to be here, I said, you know what, to myself, I will share it for the first time with my epic family. Because I was very intentional about this. And I want you to take just one time in your place to close your eyes and be very reflective and meditating about every word, because I was very intentional writing this. So please close your eyes for a minute. Future. A world filled with possibility. It is a realm not just realized, but within our grasp. The future is being shaped today by us, the current generations, and those who will follow. The world we live in reflects our leadership or the lack of it. We urgently need a new kind of leadership, one that creates a world of opportunities for all and leaves no one behind. To shape the future, we must first shape the leaders of the future. Leaders who honor their word, think long-term, and understand their responsibilities to humanity. Leaders with the courage to think critically, innovate, and solve the problems of today and tomorrow with a global and intergenerational mindset. In this era of constant change, it is vital to inspire and equip the youth, not just with hard skills, but with timeless values like integrity and purpose. We must focus on formation, interpretation, not just information. The youth need to hear that we believe in them, support them, and understand them. Bridging the generational gap with empathy, respect, and humility is essential. If we are about to build a brighter future, all generations must come together, respecting our differences, learning from one another, and building on our shared strengths and values. Let's harness the energy and the vitality of the young, alongside with the wisdom and experience of the old. Let's build bridges that unite us, not walls that divide us. Let's shape the leaders of the future who intentionally live, always guided by just one question. And this is powerful. How will humanity benefit from my leadership and higher purpose? The moment to act is now. The future starts now, and it starts with each of you. Thank you.